Hello crafters, let's make some cool blue and gold fall earrings with nail molds on Sophia the Hobbit Crafter. Alright, for supplies, we're going to use these wooden cut bezels with these nail molds, some pigment, we've got some tape, some UV resin. I'm going to use this tray, a heat gun, some tools, some hardware, and let's get started. Alright, I cut my tape and then I'm going to use my ginkgo blocks to hold the tape down. This is resin tape. It's higher heat and it kind of makes a little seal around the edges of the bezel so that we can add resin to it. And then I'm just going to turn over and push down so that it doesn't leak. All right, I already have 2 of these molds, so I'm going to use it to mix my mica powder with my UV resin. And I went with 3 different colors, like an orange, a red, and this midnight blue that was super expensive, but has the deepest, bluest color I've ever seen. I got it off Temu, and it came in a set, and this is my favorite one. I use it very sparingly. Okay, these are my colors. We're gonna add some UV to them. First, get some gloves on, because PPE is important. Then I'm gonna add some UV resin to each mica powder. I don't need very much because we're just using it for tiny little earrings. I guess it's definitely too much. But also, you don't wanna add too much mica powder because with UV resin, you want the resin to be slightly transparent so the UV can get to all of it. I started teaching real UV resin classes at our local makerspace for funsies, and I learned the hard way. Like, a lot of people add way too much mica powder and they're like, why is this still sticky? And I'm like, oh, it needs to be slightly clear for the UV to get it. It makes sense. All right, so we're gonna add some of this midnight blue as a background to our wooden bezels. I'm just gonna move it around. I wanted it to be a very thin layer because I know my little mold is gonna take up some space, so I want it just at the bottom. Hit it with UV, and now I'm gonna look at my nail mold. I'm gonna go with these 2 in the middle. I'm gonna add some color. I'm gonna try and make it 2 different colors. So we're gonna put the red in, or this is the orange. Is it the red? It kind of looks the same on the camera. I think it's red at the bottom and orange at the top. And we're just gonna put a little bit in, and I'm gonna kind of squish it in with my tool because I don't want bubbles. Just move it around until it's in the mold. 1 drop at a time, definitely. These are very small molds. Okay, I think I'm gonna add a little bit more. I actually ended up adding too much. I had gold mica powder later to this just because you couldn't really tell there was orange on top. Hindsight, I think the colors were too similar. So here's me adding some orange. It's actually I think it's one of those color changing oranges. I don't know, I'm just going with some fall vibes. Dark blue and orange are very contrasty, and I just felt like it would look cool. And it did, it does. I'm gonna use my heat gun to get the bubbles out. It thins out the resin, and my UV light. All right, let's take these off. You know what I'm noticing? I forgot that when you use blue, it kind of seeps through the wood grains, and I don't like that. So I'm actually gonna take a Sharpie and color around it so that it hides that. So I'll have a black frame around the blue. Other than that, they look really cool. And let's see how these turned out. Ooh, very pretty. Wow. Looks like a fall orangey leaf. Kind of flowery, kind of leaf-like. I don't know what it is, but it's cool. I'm definitely digging this kind of a reddish orange color. It's very pretty. All right, here's me sharpening the edges so that you can't see the dark blue leaking through the wood grains. Sometimes I like that effect, not today. All right, now I'm gonna add the gold to the little leaves so that it has more color. And let's go ahead and fill these little suckers up with some UV resin and add our nail mold kind of leaf thing. All right, don't wanna overfill it because I'm gonna cover it again with some resin. Here we go. I'm going to add my little leaf tool. The trick to this is using something you can move the piece with, because I want it to be equal. I actually made them identical just because I was making sure they're the same size. You could flip it if you want. The cool thing about those little nail molds is it's made for opposite hands, so it typically has a flipped mold thing to choose from. All right. Wow, this looks so cool. Okay, now we're going to add the top coat so that it's nice and clear and locked in. Gonna move it around, make sure I get all my Sharpie, hit it with a heat gun, no bubbles, and UV. And here is what we have. This looks really cool. It's kind of neat because the blue is slightly, you could see the light from the back. That wasn't intended, but I do love it. Okay, we're gonna add our posts now. When these are in people's ears, you're not gonna see light coming through. Well, you might, actually, it might have a cool effect. So I'm just gonna put some UV resin down and add my posts. I'm gonna move the resin around so that it kind of keeps the post from falling out. Plus, I like the look of it when it's kind of covered all the way. Cure it, and this is our final product. Wow, This is amazing. It has a really neat 3D-like effect. You can kind of see that there's something in there. And the backs look really pretty too. Just gonna admire my work now. Every angle has like a different look to it because there's actually something in the clear resin. And that blue just highlights that goldish, reddish color so well. I'm really glad I went with black around the frames too, because it would have been too much. This is super cool. All that from a little tiny nail mold that I got off of Temu. And yeah, I can't wait to do more of this stuff. I'm now collecting these. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any comments below. And I hope you guys have a happy Thanksgiving.